It's the must-win edition of Versus, presented by Auto Trader Matt Baker, Giulio Caravatta. They're all must-win. You played the game, but this is our first official must-win. You're getting goosebumps, I can tell, buddy.
I won't lie. I mean, it's a terrible, place to be in as a player. But from a fan's point of view, a guy who loves the game, these kinds of games are usually very, very entertaining because there is that level of desperation, right? Unfortunately, the Lions have put themselves into this position, and they still can control a little of it by winning out. Playing Calgary again, when they played them a few weeks ago at home was probably one of their worst performances, right? And along with that Winnipeg game, and they're going to want to rectify that. Let's hope they can make that happen in BC Place at home in a must-win situation.
Yeah, we just covered our first item there. Yeah, Lions going to be the more desperate team. Absolutely have to win to stay alive and extend this race into the final week. And I think they're going to respond very well. Interesting again. I mean, this is the most recent home matchup 4 weeks ago, right? It's been 3 on the road since, and a couple of areas that stuck out to both of us, I think, in that game. Let's start with Calgary. It starts with Bo Levi Mitchell. He had injury issues, and he's once again proven that he still can do it at a certain age, just like Michael Riley. Him and Kadeem Carey, the backfield, that Carey second in the league, almost 800 yards rushing. That Lions defensive front going to be in tough against Bo always, but Carey adds a nice wrinkle with a couple of good receivers they have as well.
Ultimately, Matt, one of the things that is key in this as well is Dave Dickinson, right? The head coach. He always has his team so well prepared. Thinking back to that game, you're right. The Kadeem Carey and their running game is starting to round into form, and he's a very, very good running back. And that ability to do both, that threat of being able to run the football, take more pressure off of Bo Levi. And now with Dave in that offense, when you're allowed to be able to be more creative because the down and distance is way more manageable. Like, you can do anything you want on first down, but that second and medium, that second and 4 and 5 and 3, when you're as a defense, you don't know what to do, right? You play a run, you play the pass, and they're play action game. Because their running game is so good, it just becomes very, very difficult to stop. You have to be able to disrupt that timing. You have to be very good on first down. And then when you have the opportunities to get into his face, make it uncomfortable for him, you have to take advantage of those scenarios. The Lions defense didn't do a good enough job, I thought, the last time they played. I think they made it very easy for them. And they need to make it more difficult. I don't care how long you've been in the league. Mike Riley, Bo Levi, Zach Collaros, all these guys. Nobody likes to get hit in the mouth. And if you can do it early, no matter how much experience you have, it is something you start to think about. And you now are taking your eyes off downfield and looking more at where the rush is coming from. And anytime you can do that as a defense, I think you're going to be more successful.
And that's equally important on the other side of the ball too. Let's talk about the Lions running game. James Butler, more of a positive to talk about this past couple of weeks, averaging about 6.8 yards a carry, like that. Had his longest run of his career in Toronto, a 29-yarder. So talk about taking pressure off on second down. They can keep this running game going, along with the fact that Michael has his horses at receiver back, pardon the pun, playing Calgary. This is going to be another big factor to keep that ground game going from a Lions perspective against Sean Lemon and Calgary's front.
They're a defense that loves to attack. Their front is very, very good. And when you put yourself in positions where they can just pass rush, then it makes things difficult for you. So, as you said, the running game is starting to come into shape. You're averaging almost 7 yards of carry. If they can continue that, you're going to be more successful. And as you said, having Lucky Whitehead back has changed the offense over the last couple of weeks. There's no denying that, right? They've been better offensively because of that ability to push the ball down the field and his presence in the offense. And so it's going to be something that Calgary has to worry about. That, where does the Lucky Whitehead line up? Where does Brian Burnham line up? Where does Dominic Grimes line up? Where do these guys all line up? And we now have to defend the run, as you said, right? James Butler has done a very nice job. And the other part of that whole scenario is when you're running the football, as I said, for the Calgary Stampeders, it just opens up what you can do, right? There's just so much more of a threat. And that's what they need to be able to do offensively to be successful, is that when they can hurt you different ways, you become more dangerous as an offense.
Very well said. It's here, man. Must win and extend this playoff race into another week. And hopefully next week we'll be talking about another must win against the Edmonton.
There you go.
Giulio, thanks, buddy.
As always, thanks very much, Matt. Appreciate it.
Lions Radio Network pregame with Giulio and the Moj. Can't forget him Friday night.